Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Secretary Granholm, I would like to start this morning by asking about the Biden administration's energy policies and their impact on our national security. The president's been cheerleading for green tech, and I feel that this has harmed the DoD's operational energy approach. It's enriching our adversaries and boosting harmful players on the forced labor supply chain. Last year, the president proposed to mandate the Department of Defense's non-tactical vehicle fleet in exchange for an all-electric vehicle fleet by 2030. The Senate intervened last year on a bipartisan basis to prevent the directive from becoming law because, number one, we recognize that China controls mining and production for electric vehicle components, and number two, this administration has hamstrung a number of aggressive permitting reforms for mining and processing of renewables right here in the United States, domestic mining and energy. So, as Secretary Granholm, you've been one of the Biden administration's leading advocates for green energy, and you've even praised China's work on climate change. So, do you believe China is a reliable partner in achieving and stabilizing U.S. energy independence and security?
First, I was comparing China's investment in renewable energy to the rest of the globe, and they have invested 4 times as much as the U.S. has, even as they are not a reliable partner with respect to their human rights abuses. Number two, though, I just want to respond to the electric vehicle issue. China does control a big amount of the critical minerals, but that's exactly what the President's Invest in America agenda is slated to overturn. We want to see responsible extraction here. We want to see processing here. We want to see the critical minerals integrated into battery packs here and put into vehicles. And in fact, since the Inflation Reduction Act was passed, 150 battery companies have announced they are coming or expanding battery supply chain, including extraction, have announced they're coming to the United States.
That's great, and I can't wait to see that happen. I hope it happens before 2030, because that's a very aggressive mandate. And I know that the permitting process for a number of these operations will take years and years and years. So if we don't streamline that, it's not going to happen.
I think we would. I don't know anyone who wouldn't disagree with you on that.
Okay, so we'll watch for that in the next year or so. I hope that this really takes on a much faster approach than what we've seen in the past. I know your department also has ongoing consideration of a $200 million grant to a China-based lithium battery company. So I don't want to see American dollars going towards Chinese investment. I think that's really irresponsible. Let's invest in domestic energy production and mining. The administration's failure to greenlight year-round low-cost, low-carbon fuel like E15 is another concern that I have. And I think that all of these things combined are negatively affecting the DoD. So I believe the proposed swapping of the military's non-tactical vehicles for an all-electric fleet, again, by 2030, really is putting the climate crusade ahead of our department's lethality. We need to focus on that first. So do you support the military adopting that EV fleet by 2030?
I do, and I think we can get there as well. And I do think that reducing our reliance on the volatility of globally traded fossil fuels, where we know that global events such as the war in Ukraine can jack up prices for people back home, it does not contribute to energy security. I think energy security is achieved when we have homegrown clean energy that is abundant, like you see in Iowa. We think that we can be a leader globally in how we have become energy independent.
Well, and when it comes to the EV fleet, I don't support it. I think we've got a $10 billion price tag here on a very expensive, unreliable product. We need reliability. And I'm going to make a plug again for our homegrown energy. We have a fleet right now that can use ethanol products, They can use biodiesel right now. We don't have to invest that $10 billion. Any one of our non-tactical vehicles can pull up to a pump, fill up with biodiesel, and we are good to go right now and no additional cost to the DoD. And at a time when we are constrained by dollars, we need to take what we have right now and utilize it. So I appreciate your optimism when it comes to developing mining opportunities here in the United States. We'll see if that actually materializes under this administration. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.